And before you discredit what I'm about to say, I'm going to back it up with video in just a moment. Here it is. The truth. Multiple attacks. Lahaina, Hawaii. Media blackout is taking place as police close off 12-mile range around the city. The first reported 60 deaths and now 100 deaths are false numbers, and over 1 to 2,000 is more accurate, according to local reports and citizens who have seen the bodies and missing people. There are several major reasons police closed off the media. The police are controlled by the government, who are controlled by the elites inside the Democrat-run state, who are running with CIA operations and UN Davos deep state ops. Part of the media blackout had to do with hundreds of people who died inside smart cars that exploded like bombs. I'm going to say that again. They had to do with hundreds of people who died inside smart cars that exploded like bombs. The multiple attacks of Lahaina came from energy-directed weapons, human arson, power lines, transformers that exploded like bombs. The day the attacks happened, Lahaina was sprayed with a low layering of chemtrail, which is aluminum and barium nanoparticles that can explode with strong 5G directed radiation microwaves or direct energy weapons or transformer explosions that act as electrical bombs. The deep state operations ordered police to close down roads and barricade and block the people in trying to escape. And I've seen video of it. The water was intentionally shut off by Kaleo Manuel, the water official who was placed by Obama, CIA. Kaleo was ordered not to release water. And you know what his excuse was? The water is sacred and we have to preserve it. People's dying, dude. Warning sirens to be turned off through the island and the city. The elites off the island were warned in advance and left the city. Now listen to this. Just 2 weeks before the fire, the deep state Democratic government was in talks with the WEF, World Economic Forum, people from the Gates Foundation, to create an agreement to build 15-minute smart cities. For over 12 years, the natives of the island would not sell their land and estate to the UN. World elites who wanted to buy land in Lahaina. It's known in the world, Lahaina, Hawaii is the second most expensive real estate in the world next to London areas. Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey, Zuckerberg, the UN, Bilderbergers, and hundreds of world billionaires, including BlackRock, Vanguard, all tried to buy huge portions of Lahaina, but were denied by the Lahaina citizens. Now, coincidentally, Bill Gates is already in talks to build high rises, and Oprah Winfrey will donate billions with her investors, and Zuckerberg has already deployed his team to start buying the burnt houses and land from unsuspecting Lahaina victims. All donations to help Lahaina community have been blocked by social media giants and networks. Tulsi Gabbard, who's from there, announced she personally visited Lahaina, and there is no help and no Red Cross or government aid happening. The deep state want all donations stopped immediately, even before it begins, because CIA, BlackRock, et cetera, elites are worried a world outreach of donations would rebuild Lahaina without deep state control in their efforts to land grab Lahaina, and donations would hinder their plans. The police were ordered to close off a 12-mile perimeter around the city and complete media blackout. Now, what is really happening, he says, right, get ready for this. Make sure you're sitting down if you don't know what I'm fixing to say. Some of you do. Listen to this. The evil is much darker than people can imagine. The nanotechnology inside the COVID-19 vaccines and boosters that carry aluminum and barium exploded in people's bodies and brains. Much like putting aluminum foil or fork inside a microwave and seeing the sparks and explosion. The nano inside the COVID-19 vaccines and boosters that carry aluminum, there's aluminum in there, and barium exploded in people's bodies from the inside out. This awful deep state beta test on a massive scale was to see the full effects of 5G. Electric bombs, transformers exploding like lightning bolts, energy-directed weapons that all activated the aluminum and barium nanotechnology in people's bodies. The explosions of smart cars on a massive level was a beta test too, and see if smart cars would be used as bombs in other cities. It should be noted, Putin shut off all his 5G towers and destroyed them just a week before the Lahaina attack. And there are whistleblowers in Congress coming forward in 24 against 5G military weapon. There's already whistleblowers from major universities exposing 5G and being used as a small direct energy weapon, or can be used as a massive weapon through cities. Okay, so now what I want to do right now is now go, okay, I want to go to some video footage from Michael Jaco. Michael Jaco is a former Marine, a SEAL team, CIA. He's very knowledgeable. Now, I don't agree with him on everything because he goes off into some things that I don't believe is totally biblical, but he's a sharp guy and he understands this kind of warfare. In other words, he knows all about it. He was part of it for a long time. Okay. So I'm going to show you some clips that he shared here. And this is mind-boggling. Okay. Let me pull it up here. Okay. Get my notes here. I want to make sure we're doing it from the right spot. Okay. You can find his channel on Rumble. Okay.
As I share the screen, there we go. Let's get it going.
This is my favorite house.
So this is the use of directed energy weapons. You're going to see cars that are like burned or microwave. Basically, it's a microwave energy. You'll see plastics and so forth that aren't touched because, as you know, if you put plastic in a microwave oven, you put food in it, cooks the food. Cooks the food how? Cooks the food from inside. So people, as we're going to see in some of the videos that I share, are talking about how fires start inside their house if they're lucky. Now, on 9/11, we had people jumping out of buildings to escape the microwaving of their bodies. Right. So that is.
Okay, did you hear what he just said? On 9/11, we had people jumping out of the buildings to get away from the microwaving inside their body. Okay, now I know some people are on here saying, well, I don't like Jaco or whatever. Okay, that's irrelevant. Okay, good for you. Bad for you. I don't care. Okay, again, I said we don't all agree on spiritual things here, but this guy knows what he's talking about when it comes to this particular area. Okay, we don't have to all agree on everything. All right, pay attention though. This is big.
I'll show that clip here in a little bit. So let's jump into this a little bit more. So watch the devastation of this directed energy weapon. And some houses are completely untouched, and then some are just absolutely devastated. And this is what happens all the time in direct energy weapon use.
That was my favorite house.
Okay, so here you see a house that's completely untouched. The foliage, the tree, everything. It's like the energy weapon just bypassed that, whether it was on purpose or whoever's directing the laser energy weapon. Who knows? Directed energy. I say laser, but it could be like I'm saying, microwave energy. So laser targeted directed energy weapon.
I don't know how I'm gonna make it through here. So
this vehicle completely untouched. These two vehicles, that house completely untouched because the dew didn't go over them.
Town Front Street.
Now look just right next to it, the devastation. So if it was so hot and the winds were pushing this fire wind so much, why did these vehicles, or maybe they came in later, you might be saying, who knows? It could be that, but we'll show you that it doesn't matter where these vehicles are, how the directed energy weapon is utilized. Sometimes it will burn just a portion of the cars where the dew passes over them, and the rest of the car, you would think the fire, there would be heat damage, but it's like untouched. And like we've seen police vehicles and fire trucks and so forth with their lights, plastic lights on top, completely untouched, where everything else is like melted to bare metal. It's unbelievable. Watch this.
Hard to even put into words.
So here's a car right here, kind of like what I'm talking about. Looks like the directed energy weapon just passed right over and started targeting this area right here. So there's no real burn marks other than that portion right there.
This looks like. It looks like a war zone. I'm ready for freaking somebody to jump out with some weapons. Unbelievable. See, I'm not alone.
All right, so you're going to see tires melted and so forth in some of the other videos I'm going to show you. So this is just typical of what we see. We see a before and after picture here. This is the area before the directed energy weapon use, and this is the area after. So you see how you still have trees standing. These trees, if it was so hot, they should have been fuel for the fire.
That's right.
But you're seeing these buildings are all the way down to nothing. There's nothing left. Dustification, kind of like what we saw on 9/11, dustification of buildings.
Justification.
This is another indicator of directed energy weapon use. All right, so let's look at a couple more. All right. Frantic survivors scramble through hellscape of dead bodies, scorched homes, as Maui wildfires claim at least 36 lives. So it's always an indicator, like it was in the Paradise fires, that when you have a lot of people that die in the Paradise fires, the worst part of it was 4 hours. Most of the damage was 4 hours to the homes and so forth. And there was a lot of lives that were lost. So normally if a fire's coming, you hear about it, you get out and you move. But this directed energy weapon, it hits your home and starts to fry you, like we're going to see in 9/11. So a lot of people think that in 9/11, there were only like a few people. We saw people jumping from buildings. There were over 1,000 people that jumped out of buildings. And as they're falling to the ground, some of them exploded. Kind of like what happens when you see a hamster, some of these people that are very cruel people and put hamsters inside of a microwave and they blow up, right? So that was happening to people at 9/11. So a lot of this stuff is been around for a long time, guys, but still these guys are doing it to us. We need to rise up against them and stop this. We, the people, have to become educated to their cruelty and their desires to destroy and manipulate and control us, and rise up and stop it. So take the information and start to spread it around so that we can wake some people up. That's the only way we can push back and stop this. Okay, so here, like I was just reading, 36 have died.
Okay, I want to fast forward here a little bit. I'm going to get to the 10-minute mark here. Okay, here we go.
For this, look at this picture. Look at the devastation. All of these homes dustified all the way down to nothing. Well, right over here, there's hardly any, I don't know who they paid off, but so, there's nothing, no damage whatsoever. And you're going to see a lot of that. That happens a lot of times in these directed energy weapon use this building. Just completely everything in the center here, just completely down to nothing.
But look how perfect the pool is and the shrubbery right here. Yeah, it just stopped right there. The fire just stopped right there.
The bricks remain. So there you go. I mean, how much more do you have to see before you go, yeah, there's something here. There's a problem here. There's a problem here. Some of you a lot of people just tune out there. It's too much. They don't want to know. California firemen find signatures of directed energy weapons. So this is the one I was telling you about, campfire in Paradise, California. Began on November 8th of last year. So this was, so that was 2018. So most of us are familiar with how microwave ovens heat and interact with foods.
Listen to this. Listen.
And how this differs from the effects of thermal or convection ovens. We know that plastics are microwave safe, whereas metals explode violently when subjected to microwaves, right?
That's right.
So MASER is the acronym for microwave amplification by simulated emissions of radiation. Likewise, laser is an acronym for light amplification. So I don't want to turn this into a big, teaching event, but here's what DEWs can do. Be invisible and inaudible. Be immune to gravity when in Coriolis forces. Travel at light speed and have near infinite range and thus be suitable for use in space warfare. Be land-based, mounted on planes, drones, satellites, or Boeing X-37s or any plane or helicopter, whatever. And they can have pinpoint accuracy. So let's listen to what some of these guys have to say.
Strange fire in Paradise, California. And more than half.
So the same thing as the camera goes through here, you're going to see the trees right next to these buildings are pretty much untouched. And then the homes are down to nothing, just completely evaporated, if you can even say that. Can we even say that? Do we even know really what's going on here? When you put food in a microwave, you know that basically if it's got a lot of moisture in it, you better put a lot of moisture in it because that moisture is going to evaporate. It's going to dry out. So that's what we're seeing in a lot of this stuff.
Of this damage occurred within the first 4 hours.
You said that your outbuildings and your house and the houses around you all started to burn at once.
I know that all my stuff started to burn at once, and then my neighbor right across the street, dozens of fires sprang up all around me and below me without, they're far in front of the fire line without any falling burning embers.
Completely ignored by the mainstream media, the anomalous nature of this fire is being reported on.
Now, why would it be ignored by the mainstream media? We know that the baddies basically control the mainstream media. So you're not going to see this in the mainstream media. In fact, a lot of this video and a lot of the videos that I'm going to show you are going to be hard to find going forward, right? Because once this is revealed, a lot of times these things will be taken off. There was tons of information right after these because a lot of people, I wouldn't say a lot, there's a few of us truth revealers that are out there that get right on top of this and reveal it, and it just gets taken down, guys. Like I've had YouTube channels, been taken down and so forth. So it is very frustrating trying to get this information out. That's why so many people are unaware, because they listen to mainstream media, which is basically giving them a lie, like, oh, it's because of tourists that we had the Maui fires, right? Because they want to get rid of tourists. They want to get rid of all of us, really, and have the land, except for, maybe a few of us be their slaves. So that's where we're moving. So here is directed energy weapon. So they're showing us that it is a possibility. This is Lockheed Martin. This is 3 years ago.
Lockheed Martin produces systems that do everything from detect the threats to identify the threats, determine whether it's a threat to the aircraft, and then employs the appropriate weapon, in this case, a laser weapon system.
What we're hearing from our customers is that they need a layered, multi-domain defensive approach that can be integrated across platforms to neutralize these threats across all those domains. Imagine an aircraft equipped with a laser system with the capability to be able to neutralize.
Burn Maui. Imagine that. Imagine that. It's not too hard, is it? Now that you've seen this.
Lahaina town was hit by a direct energy weapon. And boy, I'll tell you, the footage and the photos that I originally saw the day after the fires or the day of the fires, a lot of that has been scrubbed from the internet. Trust me, I've been looking. I've been preparing for this live stream for a week now, as you guys know, hence my absence. And they are deleting things from the internet like you would not believe, but I still got some of them. And I want to show you one in particular right now, actually. You want to turn up your volume for this. I'm going to put it on one more time, and I'm going to mute it because I want you to notice certain things. Anyone see a white beam going from the sky downward in a very vertical direction? Now, I could tell you that if this were a random occurrence of an electrical grid or whatever their official bullshit narrative is going to be, that line is not going to be perfectly vertical at all times. It's going to jet out in a bunch of different directions. You could see a systematic attempt to start a fire by something that was flying overhead. And you could see that at first they weren't getting it. And then they did. One more time. Another thing that you'll notice is the blue. That is not a common color that you'd see if something were lighting on fire. That is very clearly a blue flash, and then you have blue smoke. And we're going to talk about that in just a moment, but I'm just pointing it out here as we're watching this. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what a direct energy weapon looks like. There were numerous depictions of this available online right after the tragedy on August 8th in Lahaina, and they have all been scrubbed from the internet.
It's just amazing. It absolutely is amazing. This is evil on a scale that's unimaginable. Can you imagine your body burning from the inside out with the nanotechnology that's inside the vaccine or whatever, and they hit the weapon and it just like sparks in a microwave? My gosh, if they can do this to people, this is crazy. Absolute insanity. Listen, share this video with everybody. Okay, we need to get the word out. You've got to stand up, and we're going to have to stand up and not comply with the baloney that's coming back. And I've got something special for you here in the next few days in regards to that I'm going to be bringing to you. So you don't want to miss it. All right. Good night, everybody. Love you all. Good night from Chattanooga. I can't even talk. Chattanooga, Tennessee. This is Brad signing off.